Hi guys and girls, welcome to Zilla Cabs.
So in this video we're going to follow on from an idea that we had in our recent video where we checked out, we revisited
The Marshall shootout.
And that led us on to thinking, how does this beast sound at a more sort of usable level?
Yeah, we found that the even though it's a great sounding amp, it's just so impractical being so loud, and if you want to get any drive or any like distorted sounds out of it, you've just got to push it so hard, which is so just super loud.
So most sort of practical situations these days, this amplifier would, to get the tone you might want out of it, would just be far too loud. But we've got this piece of kit here. It's our speaker attenuator. So this goes between the amplifier and the cab, and it allows us basically to turn the cool sound down a little bit. So
what you're essentially doing is you can run your amp flat out in what would normally be an unusable volume, and this little thing just helps bring it down to a more practical, more usable volume.
Yeah, you can even have your amp on full blast and this will be off if you want.
Yeah, bedroom levels.
Yeah, so first up, we've got a little clip of me playing. I played a loop into my loop pedal and then played that back into the amp 4 times at different attenuation levels, and we're going to just cut between each different attenuation levels so you can hear the difference sort of rolling straight through.
Yeah, but when you put anything in a chain, it's going to affect the sound. So what we wanted to show how the attenuator is affecting the sound in this case.
Yeah. So I set up a sound on the amplifier that I thought it sounded pretty cool, and that was at ear splitting levels. So for anyone who doesn't know, these super lead style Marshalls have got, they're 2 channels, but you can jump between them. I won't go into too much detail about this here, there'd be loads of stuff on this on YouTube, but it's fair to say that I'm using both channels, and I had volume 1 on about 8 I think, and volume 2 on about 7.5 for this sound, so yeah, pretty loud.
All right.
But let's have a listen to the clips and let's see how they compare.
Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that. What you've just heard is Joe playing the amp at a continuous level on the amp, but with different levels of attenuation. But you will have heard it, perceived volume being pretty much the same, and that's because we've balanced the output, so you don't hear a drop every time. What we've got coming up next is I wanted to get Joe to just fiddle around with the amp and the attenuator to see if there were some other cool sounds on there. It's not just, I mean, it is a bit of a one-trick pony, but it can do other things. You can go low gain AC/DC, and you can get like heavier rock sounds out of it, and some nice twangy cleans as well sometimes.
I think it's good to see how the two things affect each other a little bit here as well, because we'll have a little chat about this after this clip, but I think it does have some impact on your tone a little bit. That's not to say a bad impact, but have a listen to this clip and see what you think. Alright, so you've heard the same bit of guitar playing there, but with lots of different settings on the amp and the attenuator. And I put some graphics on the screen there so you can see what's going on with the dials. But going back to the first section, just with the one amp sound but with different levels of attenuation, what were your thoughts on that, Paul?
My favourite of the four was probably the second one, so that was a little bit of attenuation. Did you say about 25%?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know exactly why. I'm guessing maybe it was the speaker was able to be pushed, but not too much.
Yeah, I think that's my thoughts with that one. I prefer that second clip as well with the 25% attenuation. Yeah. I think on the first one, the speaker almost sounds a little bit like it's on the edge of what it can do, like pleasantly at that point. It's starting to get a little bit too compressed.
It is kind of hard to know in some ways how much of it's the speaker and how much of it's the attenuator changing the sound. Yeah. But with the first clip, there's no attenuator on there.
Right.
So to me, I'm kind of thinking, I mean, I know you're the same, the speakers maybe coming into play there a little bit. It's just taking the edge off what you can do.
Tonally, I don't think there's a lot of difference in terms of like how bright or dark it is.
No.
It seemed pretty similar to me.
It was more of that extra little sparkle almost.
Yeah.
Now's probably a good time to say actually. This is a 4x12 that we use quite a bit in our videos. It's got the M creambacks. Yeah. It's got 4 of them in there, and so that gives you, what's that give you? A 260 watt cab. They're 65 watts each. They're not super loud speakers, so you know they will. They help a little bit with louder amps because they're not pushing as much sound out, I guess you'd say.
So I think with these clips, when it comes down to like 75% attenuation, you start hearing a little bit of, well, what I assume is the attenuator having a bit more impact on the tone there, losing a little bit of brightness in the top end and a little bit more compressed maybe. Yeah. Whereas the middle 2 settings sound a little bit more open. Yeah. And then maybe the top one you're getting a bit more compressed again because of the speakers.
It kind of makes sense that as it's interacting with the whole setup more, that it is going to have more of an effect, I guess, on the tone.
And I think it's something a lot of people usually say with these things is that they tend to notice it most in the top end. So
yeah,
I also noticed that the 75% attenuation sounded a bit slightly more scooped to me as well. But yeah. Let us know what you think in the comments, as always.
Okay.
What about just fiddling around? What do you think of that?
I just thought it was fun.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's the reason I wanted to have that in the video was to show that it's. I would call it almost a one-trick pony, but it's kind of. You can get different sounds out of it.
Yeah.
I love the cleans actually that you'll get in there.
Cool.
But even still, we've said this in other videos, but this thing is so loud that even to get those cleans with that just little edge of breakup, you're still like your neighbours are going to be complaining if you're playing this in the house.
So I think that section of messing around with the knobs started on about volumes on about 2. And it doesn't really get much louder after that. It's sort of by like 3.5, 4 is sort of as loud as it's going to get, and then it just starts
distorting.
Yeah.
All right, so I hope you enjoyed what you've heard. I'm glad we did this video because I love the amp. I think that's a really cool piece of kit, and it's good to just get it out there. I don't have much experience with attenuators, so it's kind of good for me as well.
Yeah, it's good to know that you can get great sound out of an amp and turn it down a little bit.
And taking what is just such an iconic amp and actually being able to use it in pubs again, or even at home.
Yeah, right.
As always, if you like what you see, don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell down there for when we've got new videos coming out. If you've got any questions or any comments at all, just leave a comment below. Any ideas for videos, anything you want to see, anything you don't want to see, just leave a comment below.